Welcome, horror fam, to HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Duff and Jess.
Hey, episode 101.
We did it.
Is that not
Yeah.
as exciting? Or
I think it's exciting.
Oh, okay.
We have a lot of exciting things to talk about,
yeah.
though.
Episode number doesn't matter this week. Who cares?
As always, you can interact with us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at HHN365 for all the others, and at HHN365 pod for TikTok. And you can always leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. On today's show, we will be discussing the full reveal that we received earlier today as of recording this. But we have more to talk about before we get to that. We have a few things to... No new announcements, but things we need to reiterate, right?
Yeah, just a little reminder. One, hey, we have live trivia. 31st of August. That's going to be a Wednesday at 8 p.m. at Half Barrel Beer Project. That's going to be just down Universal Boulevard. We have posts on our social media. You can pull it up on Google if you want to find the location. We'll be there. Again, starts at 8. However, if you want to guarantee a spot, 7:30 is probably the time you want to get there by.
Right.
We'll already be there setting up and everything. So,
and they don't have food, right? So come fed.
They right? do have pizzas.
Oh, they have pizzas.
And they do have pretzels. They added pretzels as well. So they have pizzas and pretzels.
Okay.
So come carb load with us and do trivia.
They have one called the Chad that has jalapenos on it, and I enjoy it very much.
Oh.
Nice. Cool. All right. And what's the second one thing we need to talk about?
We released merch. You guys already knew that. We kind of announced it on the last episode. It's been live for 6 days at this point. And we appreciate everyone because you guys have been enjoying it seems, and supporting us a lot and buying up a lot of shirts, especially the Pumpkin Lord ones, which we expected. We did want to remind you, though, that the day you hear this episode, I mean, maybe if you listen to it late, sorry, but on August 17th, Wednesday, you have until 11:59 p.m. to place your orders if you want to get them by opening weekend. So, after that, we will probably have no chance at getting them to you by opening weekend. We'd need everything to go right, and that's not how things are working right now. So,
and that's for local pickup only, guys. Just to remind you, that's if you're in Orlando, if you're coming to the event opening weekend or trivia, we will have it there for you. But if you did not leave me a note on your order, please DM one of our social medias or me, just so I can have that information, so I know you're doing pickup, because I know some people have not left a note on the order.
Right. Yeah. Based on how on like a lot of the shirts that Jess like literally has to do things on the back end, especially the Pumpkin Lord shirt, that if you're not doing local pickup, your shirt will probably take a while. This was just kind of a pre-order, and then we are putting in the order for the actual shirts after that pre-order. And so you will not be receiving, just to reiterate, you will not be receiving that shirt unless you put pre-order pickup anytime before opening weekend.
Yeah, they'll probably ship that week if you're not doing local pickup, even if you ordered by the 17th. But I cannot guarantee, in hand unless you're local. But the orders will stay open. It was just a pre-order for opening weekend.
Yeah.
For anyone they are getting shipped to, it is possible to reach you before opening weekend, but it's we definitely won't say guarantee.
Yeah, there's some stuff that has to happen. It's not like a print on demand type of situation where it is. They come to us, and then Jess, especially Pumpkin Lord, she literally makes them or adds it tweaks things, and then she ships them out to you. So it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, but that's about it for merch. So I think we can kind of get into news and rumor. Yeah, some of them rumors. News and rumors. So before we get to the big fun stuff that everyone knows is coming, there's a few details I wanted to point out. The tribute store, which has recently been changed over to Halloween colors of orange and black, has closed on the windows. They added stickers to the windows. Interesting stickers in poster, including one called the Dead Coconut Club, in reference to the Red Coconut Club in City Walk, which is a venue that has been closed since COVID. and it's got a very Universal Monsters. Well, it says Universal Monsters, but has a very tiki vibe to it as well. So hinting at maybe the Red Coconut Club becoming the Dead Coconut Club, or another possibility is this is kind of the Easter egg that will create what is the Swizzle Lounge to go along with the Monsters Gallery at Cabana Bay.
Right. Well, either way, it's really cool. Now, I am not the expert, but is this the first time they've had an City Walk club tie-in to HHN? Or I mean, rumored. We don't even know what's happening. But if this does happen, would it be the first time they've done something like this?
I feel like I'd have to look it up, but like a full, as in like full layover of one. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, would be very unique if this is what is actually happening. I am not convinced because it's, again, just something they could have done a long time ago if they had. But again, COVID also has made things,
I mean,
people think outside of the box on a lot of stuff.
The thing is also that Red Coconut Club has, was an operating place before, and it is now just not. I think they've used it for events only, and I think right now it's even actually under work. Like they're doing work inside, so
it's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
So my fear with this is because I was there today and I was looking at that poster, and so there's like a Tiki Frankenstein's monster and a Tiki Gillman. My fear is that they're just repurposing the stuff from the Hula Boutique, and all we're getting is the stuff from the monster store at the Mummy is getting put in Cabana Bay. Mm-hmm. The stuff from the Hula Boutique is getting put at Red Coconut Club, and they're slapping a new name on it. And saying, here you go. And I'm like, that's my fear. I'm going to think a little more positively about it. But
I mean, to be honest, even if they create a nice vibe where I'm literally at a Monsters Tiki bar, I won't even mind that. I would take that.
Me neither. My issue is, the last time I was in the Red whatever club,
Red Coconut Club, yeah,
was my grad bash.
Oh, wow.
They did my school did the little like pre-party on City Walk where they opened the clubs for all the teens and they had like food. So that's the last time I've been in there. So I don't really have fond memories of it. So maybe I'm like just negatively thinking about it, but it's cool because we're getting another HHN experience, hopefully. But it sounds more like it's going to be related to the Swizzle Lounge because they just called that like a spooky horror themed bar. And last year it was an Icons bar. So I'm expecting a little more theming than just spooky bar.
Yeah. And if you look at the aesthetics of the Red Coconut Club and now Dead Coconut Club logo they have, it would fit into Cabana Bay very well.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
I don't know. I'm leaning one way over the other, but both definitely seem like possibilities at this point.
I mean, I think it would be cool. I'm not sold just because logistically, and if I'm running a separate ticketed event that's Halloween themed, do I want to offer something that's like free outside of said event to attract people who don't like you know what I mean? Like attract people who aren't going to pay for the event, but just still come to Universal. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think if you're drawing people in that aren't going to come regardless, that's a good thing, right? I mean, if they weren't going to pay for a ticket, why not draw them in to come and buy drinks?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they've never done it before, so that's why I'm skeptical. But we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna be watching that one. Very curious. I think last episode or the episode before we discussed the HHN mobile game and how that is going to be returning. It has been announced that this will utilize augmented reality this year. So you'll be around the park, basically looking through your phone at experiences that will pop up. So that is pretty exciting.
See, I didn't look into that today was very overwhelming.
Yes.
To say the least. So I didn't realize it was augmented. That so like Pokemon Go. Like let's just put it a little more simply for me. Like that?
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. I'm an idiot when it comes to tech. So that's fun. So like the monsters are gonna pop up because I think
it's gonna be Icons Go.
Oh my god! The last year you would have caught me trying to catch Albert in the streets. So, but it's monsters themed as well, right? I think I saw that somewhere.
Maybe. I don't remember, to be honest.
Oh, well, Sterling, you can yell at me later. But yeah, I'm excited for the game. I liked it last year. I hope they fix the bugs.
Yep, of course. Well, that's more with the universe.
No, they'll leave the bugs in this year. They'll definitely leave the
bugs. There's your first one.
And finally, Epic Universe. Monsters Land is of note, I would say, for this. Especially because the new Screamscape rumors that have dropped, and backed by Alicia Stella as well, is that at night, basically the characters are going to come out and kind of treat it as a pseudo scare zone throughout the entire land.
So essentially just like nightly, at night meet and greets. Like, kind of like
No. They specifically stated like coming out and like
actual
scaring
like,
you. Yeah.
No, not photo ops. Like,
correct.
Like
I'm sure like a scare zone, you could probably take a photo, but they will actually be like attempting to scare you, supposedly. How that will work during daytime, nighttime operations, not sure, but I would love it.
Yeah. All I can think about is when like those Marvel characters that come around on the weird like 4-wheelers sometimes.
But it's Dracula.
It's Dracula on a 4-wheeler,
and they're on Segways instead.
Yeah.
Oh, monsters!
Like Frankenstein is like walking really slow.
Frankenstein, because he's too big, he's got one Segway for each foot. But he's just stuck spinning in a circle for too long. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, but that was it for news and rumors. So now we could get to the very exciting stuff, which of course the HHN 31 announcements: the 6 remaining houses, all originals, the 5 scare zones, the 2 shows. Get some news about the tribute store. Kind of the day we've been waiting for a long time. It's here.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys think? Before we get to actual announcements, let's talk about how they're doing. And I know that they've done this the last couple of years. Do you guys miss the trickle down like we've had in years past? Or do you guys like we'll get the IPs and then we're going to get the big ass drop at the end? Do you guys like kind of the new normal, or do you miss the old way where we would get a little bit here or there trickled throughout the season?
So I think it depends how it's done, because HHN 27, I believe, did a late dump all at once, specifically for originals, but they all came with accompanying videos, each house separately.
I remember that.
I'd say
yes,
that was worth it. That was cool. I'll take that. Otherwise, I do kind of prefer the trickle down. That's more my. I don't know. I just kind of like getting nice little pieces. Every now and then.
Like 2 every couple of weeks, like how it wasn't in 29, where we got like, like here's 2 here and there's 2 there, and then then we're gonna get the zones and shows at the very, very end. Yeah, I kind of miss that.
But I also think like there's even further in the past, there were times where they would do full reveals, but it would be like, we're gonna do this on the website with everyone at midnight, and everyone stayed up, and it was an experience, and everyone was talking on the forums at the same time as it was happening, and that creates a different factor to it too that isn't quite the same now. So yeah, I think this specific style of massive drop, I would take trickle over.
Gotcha.
Yeah, same. Honestly, I say it all the time. I've only been going since 27, so I was kind of used to, I guess in 2017 we had all the IPs announced, and then the originals were like a dump. I remember, I think it was like all of them at the same time, or the 4 of them or whatever. Yep. And that was kind of my norm. So I much prefer getting like a couple of announcements here and there, other than like one big one, unless it is like purposefully done, kind of like what Duff said, on like a website at midnight. There's a countdown, there's hype, something behind it. But waiting until August 16th, I know it it feels so late, but this was the norm for a while. Waiting this long. So
this is usually when the last announcement is. This is usually when we get like the last couple and the and the zones and shows. Mm-hmm. But we used to kind of get like them to try like some in March, some in April, some in June, like. At least for, if I recall, like 28 and 29 were both kind of like that.
Yeah, they definitely, this year was much less spread out than usual, but everyone was acting like it was so different than they've been doing, and it's really
No.
not that much different. Sure, it was a little bit longer, and they were holding it back a little bit more, but it wasn't like some crazy different, like, wait till 5 days before the event and just drop everything.
Yeah.
It's not that different than what they've been doing, and it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it's not a big deal at the end of the day. I'd prefer it be done a little bit differently, but I mean, a day like this is also fun. Just getting blasted with info about the event, even though by this point we kind of already know what's coming.
That's true. But okay, so my question for you guys is, was it worth the wait?
Yes,
Definitely.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
agree. Today was so exciting. It felt like old, like announcement season again. I don't know how to put it other than that.
Yeah, there was so much build up this year for it. I
Mm-hmm.
think because, especially when Scarezone started coming up and the aesthetics we started to see, and then the names we saw associated, we're like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's an exciting like concept. After each house zone we learned about, it's like, okay, I want to see this officially dropped, and to get it all at once and be excited about most, if not all of it, it's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was at least for me, as someone who doesn't follow this, so there was still a surprise or two in there. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely was pretty spoiled by having this show. But usually, if I'm not, I try to keep I try not to avoid spoilers unless I'm hosting a podcast about it. Like back then, I used to always avoid spoilers, but now it's a little bit harder too. We have a segment on the show where we talk about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there were still a few surprises for me. I don't know about you guys. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I think more name than anything, but yeah, we'll get to it. So let's really quick before we hop into it, kind of describe how we're going to break it down. We're going to go houses, zones, shows, break it down that way. But other than that, each house we go into, we're kind of going to give the universal script of what the house is. Then also there was a podcast on the Discover Universal podcast, which is their official podcast. They had Laura Sauls, they had Charles Gray, they had Matt Frost all on the show, and they went
Matt Flood.
talked. Matt Flood, sorry, thank you.
You're good.
I told you I say it different every time.
I know, that's why I
Uh,
corrected you.
um, but yeah, so basically they went deeper into each house. They didn't really give away any spoilers, just gave you more of the full plot rather than just like little tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll also drop that in after, and then random little things we picked up from other people as well. So let's start with houses then. Um, Jess, I know you're excited about this one. You want to take it?
Oh, please, could I? I'm going to try to come up with a Twitter name based on this house eventually. Spirits of the Coven. Guests will be invited to a lively 1920s speakeasy, but something sinister is brewing beneath. A coven of seemingly beautiful flapper witches will lure those who enter into a hidden brewing area. Once they've ensnared their victims, they'll reveal their haggish true form and turn guests into a witch's brew. They'll be cackling, everyone else will be screaming.
Love it. Love it.
Oh my god, flapper witches!
Yes. Prohibition flapper witches.
Oh
I
my god.
love it.
They pulled this out of my brain. I don't even know. I was already unbearable and then this came out. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is like if Legendary Truth scene with like the Kitty Cat Lounge met the scene of Wicked Growth with the witches. If they had like a baby, if those two rooms had a baby, that's what
Literally.
Yeah, pretty much. It's oh, man, and the whole thing about like spirits being a pun because it's a speakeasy, and there's a lot of fun going on before you even go into the house. Just learning a little bit about the house is like, oh, this is interesting.
Oh yeah, and we're
You're
gonna
having
get
fun with this
witches
one.
in like all their different forms. They said beautiful, they said haggish, like oh my
Yes.
god. The podcast they talked about you're gonna start in the speakeasy and then kind of go deep into like the caverns of the coven. So it's gonna go from like beautiful to oh my god, we're in danger. They said very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sounds
Oh,
like we got some hothouse potential on this one. This is going to be the sexy one.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped. This is I know we'll do hype lists I guess eventually, but like Whoo! Y'all know where this one is.
Okay. All right. Well, yep. That's a couple episodes away. Hold it in. Hold it
Okay,
in.
I will. I will. I mean, I didn't say it was number one, but y'all know it's near the top.
Okay. Oh, fair. All right. Moving on to the next one. One that is dividing the entire fan base. That's going to be Bugs Eaten Alive. The Bug House has come to fruition. While touring a 1950s home of the future, guests will be swarmed by hordes of revolting insects after a pest control system failure unleashes them. Many-legged horrors growing, mutating, and laying eggs in human hosts will worm their way into the deepest fears. Those who dare enter will be dropping like flies. Man, they love a good pun this year. They really do.
Very punny little blurbs here.
So they actually gave us quite a bit of info about this house in the podcast. One thing is they really wanted to make it clear that they wanted this house to be absolutely revolting. They simply did not want you to feel comfortable at any point in this house, stating directly, our goal is that no one can finish this house. Of course, this could be more the PR side of the talk, but that's quite the quote.
Yeah. I think this one might be the comedy house. I'm getting some comedy house vibes on this one.
Yeah.
Like 50s home of the future. Are we going to get some like Carousel of Progress parody type feel on this one?
So the thing is that you're at a showroom of the company BuzzCon, and Exterminator is like an air conditioner that's supposed to kill bugs. However, basically, it lets them all out. They become mutated, and as the house comes on, they become bigger and more mutated. They claim that there's just going to be all kinds of bugs. Sif will definitely be in this house.
Okay. I'm getting comedy house vibes on this one. This is going to be like the...
Well, they even say there's going to be dark humor.
Well, they said... I think they said that this was like... They've always said that they have a comedy house. I'm almost positive Charles or Laura said this is the comedy house this year.
Which is such a stark contrast to like... We also don't want you to be able to like get through it though.
Yeah. Oh, and then they said they told a story about how they were in there and a moth was like flying and it scared the shit out of them because they were looking at like the stationary bugs. And they were like, well, it's Florida, because the co-host was like, could that happen? They're like, yeah, a real roach could get in the house and we won't notice. And that makes it 1,000 times worse for me.
Can you imagine if you like a roach actually started crawling on you in the bug house? I would actually freak out then.
I'm finding the nearest exit, and no event is going to stop me. No staff is going to be able to stop me from getting out of that house.
I just got very nervous because, Duff, I see you have written here many holes / trypophobia. I have never told you I have a very, very strong trypophobia thing.
I did not know that.
I do not like that. No, especially when it comes to like skin. If like those like Google ads that and things that pop up with like weird holes in people's skin, it grosses me out for like hours. I cannot. No. I do not like the textured hole type thing.
Oh, Mike,
especially when it comes to skin.
This was going to be bad for people. They specifically said it was going to be bad for people with trypophobia or trypophobia.
Oh yeah. No,
they said it.
Good luck, Mike.
I'm so sorry.
I have a strong one.
They did also claim that people, so like A&D walking through the house, have had trouble making it through as is. So very curious to see how that goes when this is running at full capacity with guests.
Oh no.
I'm okay if it's like plants and stuff, but if it's skin trypophobia, I can't.
Well, I don't. They kind of went for it's going to be like for like larvae and stuff will be inside of it, and
there's definitely going to be some kind of eggs in someone's body. They're going to lay eggs in the body.
Oh no!
I'm calling.
I'm okay with the bugs, but I'm not okay with the trypophobia.
Well, they said larvae.
It says directly laying eggs in human hosts in the description.
Oh, they did. Oh my god, they did. Wow. Mike, I'm so sorry for your loss of sanity this year.
Yeah. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen that there was a house that I was completely disgusted by. And
I would be with Tooth Fairy. I get it. I don't do decay. Bad teeth freak me out, so I get it.
Yeah.
Mike, would you like to take the next one?
Yes, let me quickly pull it up. There we go. Oh, so the next one. Oh, I have the wrong outline. Oh, there we go. It is the next one. Okay, this one. Oh, you give me the one where I have to pronounce Spanish. Great.
Oh, it's not. Come on.
Festiva de Chupacabras. The mountains of Latin America are filled with wonderful traditions. In one tiny village, they pay tribute to the legendary creature Chupacabra with an unusual festival. There's more to the legend than meets the eye, and in this colorful village, the streets are lined with crimson blood of visitors. This one's gonna be cool.
Fiesta came up once and it threw you completely off your game.
Yeah, no, I'm not good with the pronouncing Spanish. I faked my way with through my Spanish class by just what was the website that everyone uses to cheat? I basically used that.
Which one? A lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's kind of one of those concepts a lot of people have wanted to see for a while. And I'd like to note that there is a member of Creative who, helps and assists with this process in this house, who came out directly on Twitter and he said, "Hey, I'm a Latino man, and I promise they handle this sensitively and in a respectful and celebratory way of cultures." So
that's great. So they heard the feedback. For them to come out and say that, I think they heard the feedback about the shirt. 100%. That was on purpose, based on the feedback of the
I hope
shirt
so.
we talked about last week.
I'm glad you brought it up, Duff, because I screenshotted the tweet because I was like, oh, I'm glad somebody said it, because I saw some people there, specifically people who I believe from Puerto Rico, who Chupacabra, I guess, originated there. That's what their culture believes. I don't know. I'm not educated in that. So they were saying this better be placed in, Puerto Rico, but then other people were saying it's a Mexican lore. So
it's both.
Yeah,
I think they share it, right?
Here's the thing: it did originate in Puerto Rico, like Chupacabras itself. Like, there's actually like further origins of where it could come from, but the standard definition of Chupacabras, first sighting was in Puerto Rico, and then has moved on. It's still big in many areas of Mexico and even into the U.S. I mean, obviously, I can't say one way or another how they should feel. If they feel it's tied directly to their culture more than others, I get it. But also, I've seen the other side where I've seen people say I'm Mexican, and I feel like nope, it's just as deeply embedded with us.
Yes,
right. I just was seeing people are already bringing up the conversation. It should be placed in this place. I'm just glad that someone who is working on creative development said, this is authentic, terrifying, and unlike anything, and it's true to our culture. I'm glad that was put out there. I'm excited to see it.
And I would also like to say it never directly states it's Mexico. Of course, images we can see and the way the fiesta is held can kind of lead one culture more than another, definitely. But it looks like they're not actually trying to put a full location on it. That's to be seen, again, details inside the house.
Latin American, right? It's kind of sharing probably a little bit of kind of probably Puerto Rico vibes and Mexican vibes. I mean, if they both, and in Southwest United States also does a lot of about Chupacabra as well. I think if it's a legend that is shared by multi-cultures, the U.S., Mexico, and Puerto Rico, I'm okay with blending those kind of locales together and kind of doing like a like an Arendelle type of situation where it shares from a little bit of and doesn't give like an exact locale. I'm okay with that.
I think that'd be a perfect way to handle it.
I love that you used Arendelle as the example on this Halloween Horror Nights podcast.
It was the first thing that popped into my
it's perfect. I'm glad you used it.
But we did get some more info from the creative directors about this as well. Antagonists will be both Chupacabras and the villagers. and guests will take on the role of tourists, with the villagers luring them in to use them as sacrifices.
Choopy babies.
I'm really excited.
I just hope that food booth. I'm sorry, that food booth before Central Park makes me nervous. That's my fear.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the aesthetics that we've gone with. That everyone's going, oh, it's Mexico.
Right.
Again, to be seen what's actually inside the house. So I'm not gonna not gonna lean one way or the other yet. We'll see what happens.
Oh, what if this is it's kind of giving me, I didn't experience it, but Lightning Gulch like village kind of vibes. What if that it's kind of like that kind of setting, like a village in Latin America? I mean, it seems like we're gonna I don't know. I really want to see a cool set like that. I don't know.
It's
That's
possible.
my wish.
I don't know if it'll be at that scale, but it's possible.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like Santa Fe. Have you ever been the main square of like Santa Fe? Like that type of that would like when I think of this, I think of like that kind of Latin American or the Southwest U.S. type of vibe of where that square with that the red bricks and things like that. That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be great. And no, I've never been to New Mexico, but I'd love to. Very high on my list in the U.S.
Santa Fe is one of my favorite places. My mom grew up in New Mexico, so I spent a lot of time down there.
I see. Oh. I would love to. Anyways, we can move on from that and actually talk about the event still, not get into anything that potentially could be problematic because we don't actually know what it's going to be yet. So we'll hold out judgment on that. Jess, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. Universal loves an alliteration. So Hell Block Horror. They too do time for their crimes. Guests will have to survive visiting hours in a secret penitentiary that houses treacherous monsters and fiends of all kinds that are hellbent on taking over and destroying the world. The interdimensional power core containing the inmates has failed, and the monsters are breaking out of their cells, allowing them easy access to guests and the exit. That's a lot of big words. I didn't realize what you were making me read. Interdimensional power core?
I didn't plan this, okay?
Wow. Okay, so let me read the other two little tidbits we have. So, according to Legacy, which has been given us Easter eggs, like rumors and hinting at things and clues, they're saying it will be like Cabin in the Woods third act with HHN characters. So that like prison breakout scene, it wasn't like, was it a prison?
Yeah, it was
whatever.
Yeah, it's like a research lab, right?
Mm.
Yeah. And then we'll contain Easter eggs for longtime fans, per that podcast interview that we keep referring to.
Mm-hmm. And then also one thing I forgot to add that I do remember them saying on the podcast as well is that you will experience the explosion of this power core. So.
Okay. So are we getting like body collectors?
I think so. They said that we were going to be getting like everything. Well, besides like icons. I saw a couple people say that. It's not icons.
No icons, but all the others, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how, because they made it seem like it'll be Easter eggs.
Nightingales.
If you've been going for a long time, you'll recognize. So I wonder if they're just not fully giving us that, like, this is going to be HHN character heavy. Because could go that way.
That would be so cool.
Because remember, like last time we had a house kind of drop from the event, Billie Eilish, we got a very HHN-centric house.
Yeah.
We had a property drop. HHN-centric house again, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you have to quickly throw something together, you might as well go something you have the costumes in the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about this, we're probably going to see people like, sorry, Mike, Blood and Guts, HR Blood and Guts. All these people get locked up for what they did. That's what this is saying. Yeah. So if they didn't go to Shady Brook, where'd they go? They went to Hell Block Horror. So the body collectors, the Nightingales, like you said, probably, I mean, maybe like Bobby the Blade from Hellgate.
Return of the Mouth Brooders.
Oh, yeah. Just like iconic characters that maybe we never thought we would see again.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. We're definitely getting an HHN bear.
Oh, bear. Oh, bear. Who? Oh, my God. Okay. I think I'm a little more excited for this one now that we've.
I am too. If it actually is like just this is the Easter egg house, and it sounds like they kind of alluded to it. Not only was it Legacy, they alluded it on the podcast. So there's more. Yeah, there's some more smoke to this rumor.
Yeah. So are they kind of playing off how much it'll be there, and it's going to be the super fan servicey house, or will it really just be a couple Easter eggs? Because I'm not fully buying it'll just be a couple Easter eggs.
I don't. It's not a. Well, hopefully we'll find out the day after opening night.
All right, we'll see. We'll see soon.
Hopefully.
All right, let's move on to the next one, and we have a sequel house this time. A sequel to a Scarezone, though. In Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. There's nothing charming about this ghostly New England fishing village. A phantom sea captain is summoning undead fishermen from their watery grave, a grisly crew with rotting, barnacle-encrusted bodies. Guests may have escaped their hooks in the Dead Man's Wharf Scarezone in 2016. Now they'd better batten down the hatches before they're reeled in and drug under.
Oh, so they straight up mentioned Dead Man's Wharf.
Exactly.
So this is a direct sequel. They just use a different name.
Yeah, so it sounds like basically it's the same crew has moved on to another location.
Pier and a wharf. Somebody talked about it on their show. I can't remember who it was. Another podcast. A pier and a wharf. The difference is one is for receiving like cargo, and the other one is for like docking your boat and like leaving the boat. Like I don't know which one's which, but that's what the difference is.
Oh.
Okay. All right. I did not know that.
I can't. I wish I remember who it was. It was one of the other HHN podcasts. I'm sorry.
So a few things that was noted in the podcast, they specified that it is gorgeous and terrifying and has lots of huge actors. And I got to say, one thing I expect from this house, just from the name and kind of the concept of what it is, really impressive sets, like really detailed, immerse you sets. And,
I think I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, I loved Dead Man's Wharf. They didn't really pull out all the stops for the props in the zone, but they looked great. I thought the character design was great. It was a fun atmosphere. So getting to see this fully fleshed out in the house now in kind of like an icy, cold like setting. I'm excited. Very excited.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of Yeti in was that 2018? God, 2019, whatever year, 2019. Was getting to go into the cold from the heat outside. So we're getting this. I'm expecting like some gross smells too. Like maybe we'll smell like salt water, but then like fish and like rotting stuff. But this house is gonna hit different at like 9 o'clock at night when the sun's finally gone down, but you're still hot. I'm so excited. I didn't get to experience Dead Man's Wharf. I did obviously last year as part of Lights Camera Action, but that was one guy on a stage. I want to see all of these terrifying fishermen attack me.
I think you'll get your wish very soon.
Yeah.
And then, Mike, do you want to grab the last house announcement?
Yes. So this one, I'm also very excited. This one is called Descendants of Destruction. Deep in the subway tunnels below an abandoned toxic city, mutant humans fight for survival. The deeper one goes, the darker their fate. In the fading light of the poisoned depths of hideous creatures who've long ago left our humanity behind prey on all who try to make their way through the darkness. And then it looks like you have notes here. It says the house takes place in the New York City subways.
Yep. It's, I'm realizing how tough it's going to be to make a hype list because so many of the originals sound so great. So I don't look forward to making that list. I'm really nervous about how it'll come out and how I'm going to actually feel confident about what I put down.
This is going to be really cool, guys. Now, I know this one was rumored to be like a Seeds sequel and prequel. It sounds like that was just kind of did not come together.
No, apparently that is the case. It is.
Oh, really?
They didn't say it, but the way that I can't remember if it was Charles or Matt, the way that they introduced it, because they didn't read these like blurbs, they gave their own little like explanations. They said it was an extinction level attack had happened and these are the people who tried to flee that.
Oh, so okay, so these are like the people who fled to the subways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so all right.
And it's presented in 3 acts. So what they meant was that, so when you first, it's just a couple of people and a couple of hybrids, like whatever. It's like underground creatures. That's what this was hinting at originally on the spec map. So it's, the human hybrids, then you go a little bit deeper. It's more human hybrids and less humans. And then you get deeper and it's only the people who have been, attacked and like carnage. And then the lighting is also in 3 acts. So it's solar power at first, then it's battery power of flashlights. And then the last is no light. It's just bioluminescence or luminescence. So oh yeah. Noises. That's all. Cool.
So one of the early rumors before this was even underground creatures is that there would be a bioluminescent like plant house. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited for that possibility. Yep. And it looks like that might have been true the whole time.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So so the rumor is that these are kind of like the plant creatures. So it's going to be like human plant hybrid.
Well, no, they fully mentioned that is the case pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then there was also I feel like they also said not like a mole people, but they said like things of the underground, also human hybrids. Yep. So like I'm assuming rat people, which is like, oh, if you know me, I love rats. Oh my God, this is my house. I know I said spirits of the coven, but this is also my house.
This is gonna be cool.
Oh, it's gonna wreck my shit. It's gonna be dark. I'm expecting like the dead exposure levels of dark in that final kind of scene.
I hope so. And only lit up by like bioluminescent creatures. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on.
Yeah. No.
I cannot wait for, what do we have? 2.5 weeks now. I cannot fucking wait. That was it for all the houses though. But we do have quite a bit more to go over, including all 5 scare zones. So Jess, do you want to take the first scare zone?
All right. So our first one, and this is this the one in Production Central? Yeah, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Horrors of Halloween. The Pumpkin Lord, the spirit of Halloween, has returned to take over this year's event, summoning hordes of fiendish creatures, including demons, ghosts, and witches. Terror has taken root. It says characters from all of the zones this year will be featured here.
So the way they say this, it seems like, not in the marketing sense, but Pumpkin Lord is kind of the icon of this event, huh?
Mm-hmm. He like took over. Like they had another idea, and the Pumpkin Lord said, "No, I'm here. I have all the followers. Get the fuck out of the way."
And I remember there's a few more things that was mentioned that I did not write down. Is that basically every like the base of this scare zone is going to be his like grown roots. Like he has rooted deeper and has things growing out more. So that whole truss kind of structure might be growing out of the Pumpkin Lord. That might be his roots because those are all his pumpkins there.
What's he going to be on top of it? Oh, what?
That would be crazy.
What?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But
Lil Boo got put up today.
Yeah, Lil Boo is dead center.
How do we get him down for his breaks?
Staring down at you. No child labor laws in Florida, apparently.
Right.
No, Lil Boo just lives up there now. But no, he's there. If you want to see him, we put a TikTok up about it.
I like how Lil Boo went at the like absolute furthest place away from people's touch. Like, no, absolutely.
They literally said center. He's center stage.
Just staring down at you.
It was hard to find him. I thought a bunch of other pumpkins were Boo today. I was like, Boo? And he was just staring down at me like, I'm right here.
But yeah, we don't have much other visual what this is going to be like, but exciting nonetheless. Because it said Pumpkin Lord. So also, they released a bunch of merch to go along with basically this zone. Some Pumpkin Lord merch, and the tagline is "Scares." Jess, what was it? You're wearing it.
Oh, it's on my back. Wait, scares at every turn. Scares at every turn.
Scares at every turn.
I had to read it upside down. Speaking of merch, I'm wearing the hoodie. It's great. I love it.
they've now released 2 little slogans that are way better than "Never Go Alone." So why they're still using "Never Go Alone," I will never understand.
Scares at every turn. But yeah, the pumpkin lord. There was a shirt. There was a cup. There was a magnet. There was a hoodie. Is that it? No, there was a sign, like a poster as well.
And we discussed off mic that it all, like, the design is badass, except on the t-shirt. Looks a little off. Don't know why. Looks great on everything else.
Oh yeah, and the hoodie is like it's like a gray and black tie-dye, but it's like dark enough where it's not in your I love it. I love it. They also released this has nothing to do with this. Well, actually it's Lil Boo. So they released a women's or, more slim fit cropped hoodie of that cat skull and Lil Boo design, and I also bought that today.
There you go. Oh, you know what else has to do with it? HHN365.bigcartel.com has a Pumpkin Lord bleach dye shirt. Looks great. You should rock it at the event in this zone specifically. Thanks.
Oh yeah, and tag us in your pictures.
Order by Wednesday, 8/17 by 11:59 p.m. and you'll have it opening weekend.
That was not planned, by the way. We had no idea. Spoiled. We had no idea the Pumpkin Lord was.
I've been saying for months that no way they're gonna bring him back the next year. Look at me.
Right. In fact, had we known, we probably wouldn't have made it because we would have expected them to drop their own merch.
Yeah, we would have been afraid of the cease and desist. This still might come.
Look like assholes.
Yeah. Right.
We released it first, though.
I'm glad we got it in that week.
Right.
Yeah.
No refunds.
That probably saved us. Saved us the cease and desist.
Ours are a little cheaper.
So sequel again. Speaking of Scarecrow Cursed Soil, this is going to be the one over in Central Park, and oh boy, there are some exciting things. But first, the little quip: at an abandoned farm, Scarecrow sentinels have risen from the crust of the earth to hunt souls and seek revenge. They'll harvest the screams of those who dare enter this dilapidated barn. And they fully confirmed it is a Scarecrow sequel on the podcast. They said how the main thing they harped on is that the house was in the barn, and this one is going to be primarily out in the cornfields themselves. However, there is a barn that just called forever ago. That structure, that has trusses on both sides and looks like they should connect. It will be a barn, and it will not be scarecrows, but another creature who will be attacking guests. And they basically hinted at this being like a mini house experience.
Yeah, they literally, I think they said, oh, if you're trying to avoid the houses and just do the zones, oops, we're going to make you go through a mini house. Were their exact words.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. But also, so Duff, we never kept track of that announcement challenge we were doing.
Uh-huh.
So can I take my win for this barn that I called?
Yes, you can take your win for this barn.
Yes. Okay, so you buy the first round? What? That was the challenge. And we don't know who won the announcement one because we stopped caring.
Fine.
Hey, I called the barn.
All right, whatever. But hey, I'm excited for this. It's a house that everyone loves. Like, it's just one of the most popular HHN houses ever made. People continually talk about how it's the scariest house ever. So, kind of adding it back is a no-brainer. Obviously, it's going to be tougher to get the same level of scares in a scare zone, but the creature design is great. The aesthetics they go for are great. I think it could still be pulled off really well, and I think Central Park's a good location for it too.
Definitely.
All right. Do you want me to take the next one?
Yes, please.
All right, so the next scare zone is going to be the New York area, and that is Sweet Revenge. The sweets of Major Sweets Candy Company have turned these 1950s kids into crazed killers with pint-sized costumed maniacs roaming the streets. Halloween will be a night of trick-and-treat mayhem. Low key, probably my most anticipated scare zone for me. This one has everything. It has Halloween. It has a kind of like a 1950s nostalgia. This is going to be really cool.
I love when kids are the killers. I love it so much. So yes, please. And again, what we've already seen out there in New York, the sets look phenomenal.
Oh my god.
There's a few nitpicks about the quality and details of some of the stuff, but the aesthetic they're going for, great, love it.
Mm-hmm. And that tribute store facade got painted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's all orange and black. Oh my god.
Oh, so it ties in
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will. But they also Mike, do you want to mention those two little
Yeah, so we have here that it says there will be show moments, which it's kind of that's very often the case with this area for sure. This scare zone definitely usually does, and so they're confirmed there will be, and a crash parade will be in the middle of the zone. So yeah, I am getting some Vamp 55 just kind of feel just from just the mention of this that is cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those come out. Oh my god.
It's gonna be so good. They said they also were partnering with the same companies that make the Mardi Gras floats for this on the podcast. So I'm expecting maybe, I don't know about extravagant because it's a little hometown, idea is what it is, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's also going to be a big moment during Stay and Scream when this stuff comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Seeing stuff like that get wheeled out is going to be... Whew.
Oh my god, especially if it's do you think they're just going to bring... Because they're normally pulled by Ford trucks or whatever. Do you think it's going to be something along the scale of that or smaller that's pulled by a little gator?
It sounds like it's going to be a big boy.
And they just park the truck there. I feel like it's, it's a runoff. Well, if it's 1950s, I don't think it could be a Ford truck. Oh, it could be an old Ford truck.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. I could sit here and speculate about all these zones all night long.
Well, that's the point. I mean...
These are so good. I also love that. I feel like the trick-or-treaters are obviously going into the zone. They said it. But the trick-or-treaters are some of my favorite, I say old, but classic HHN characters for the zones.
Yep.
And we should point out that they've put up, I think, 4 different food booths in that area where they're decorated houses set up around Halloween that people would go trick or treat at.
There were 3 new ones today because not Delancey Street, but that other street that's on the side of the smoking section, the center by Fallon. The walls came down and they have 3 more booths on that street, and they're all houses as well.
There you go.
Yeah, no, when I was about to say I love trick-or-treaters too, Jess. So when I think back of the roaming hordes year of 2012, and most of them were pretty lackluster, but I still have fond memory of those trick-or-treater kid roaming hordes. Those are my favorite. I love the trick-or-treating kids characters. They always have so much fun, and the characters they're always. You can just tell the kids that get cast in that are always having the time of their life. They are always really into it, and I'm sure this year it will be the case as well. They're gonna be really good.
Yeah, and they also mentioned the makeup team in this one was running wild, and there's gonna be ooey, gooey stuff oozing out of their mouths from the candy and the mutation and everything.
Oh, nice.
Oh, makeup wise, this year I feel like I'm just gonna geek out over all of the makeup designs, and I do every year, but this year just feels different. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype building, and that's kind of scary being this excited. But I'm just gonna believe it won't let us down. It won't.
It's traditional Halloween. That's all our shit.
It's true.
Why we love HHN is literally the root of this event. And they're doing, and I figured we'd talk about it eventually, but it seems like the whole theme of this year is low budget haunt done with an HHN budget. Is the way I can describe it, is we're getting all those traditional tropes that we've had, but we've never had all of them in one year. We've never had the witches, the trick-or-treaters, the ghosts, the ghouls, all of it. This year is just perfect for all of us. I don't know how to describe it other than that.
I mean, there was a lot of rumor it's HHN 31. What are they going to do for it's the year, Halloween? They're going to have to go heavy Halloween theme. They did. They did. They haven't straight up made that the theme, but you can tell that they are. They're going very hard on the traditional Halloween this year. You only assume it's because it's HHN 31.
Yeah, and I couldn't have asked for anything different for it. It's something I've always wanted to see, and here it is. It's time. But there's another zone that very much is directly classic Halloween. And it's the one over in Hollywood with the sets that have blown our minds and have only gotten better since we've talked to you a week ago. And that's going to be Graveyard Deadly Unrest. On All Hallows Eve, a dark storm descends upon a cemetery and awakens long dead spirits. These specters rise from their graves to capture souls for all eternity. No one living can escape them. I mean, it's a graveyard, and there's dead people that are not currently dead, and I mean, it's Halloween. Hello.
Yeah.
The one note that we kind of took down from the podcast is that the main characters are brothers named Death and Sleep. They will be guarding the gates to the cemetery.
Okay, so this one was rumored to be like a vampire scare zone. Was that confirmed in anything? Is it going to be?
Not one bit. No. It hasn't given off that vibe or implication whatsoever. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's this graveyard, and there could be random things there, but it seems mainly more like not zombies, but more like skeletons. It
sounds like kind of,
especially from the imagery
like zombies,
of the logo.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised also if we had maybe like living statue characters.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of based, and like there's been construction. Well, so when I was there today, you know that set piece we've been joking about in front of the bench?
Mm-hmm.
They moved it completely. It's gone.
Oh.
They chopped the stage part off of it. You know how it had that little platform?
Yeah.
Chopped it off. It's now turned on its like complete, like turned sideways, not on its side, but turned the other way. Mm-hmm. And it's moved over like 10 to 15 feet to the right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the outline is still on the floor of like where it was originally with sawdust.
Everyone, you got your bench back. There you go.
I was a little sad because they moved it out a little bit when we had went last week.
Yeah, they did.
And I was like, oh, I could sit there. I was still going to sit on that bench. You weren't going to stop me. But there's also been a set piece added in front of Bourne, another little archway. And I would say that there's also been gates added, like big ass gates. Oh my God. We kept saying there were these like hinges, it looked like, on the frames and like the structures. And I was like, what's going to be added there? Gates. Big ass. Oh my God.
The weathering and overgrown look has increased tenfold and looks phenomenal.
It's so good.
It's again.
Yeah, this is going to be a good zone too, guys.
The vibes we want.
And it goes all the way from where the Shrek house used to enter, pretty much, and then all the way down to horror makeup.
Yeah, so it uses the whole street.
Oh, it's so good. And I don't know if they're going to add anything, during Stay and Scream. I keep saying maybe like a, decrepit steeple or something, or like a big mausoleum in the center. I don't think they need it, but I think they still could.
Mm-hmm.
But the fog with the lighting, it's going to be so good.
I'm excited for all these zones. But Jess, I know you're very excited for the final zone announcement that we're going to discuss. So it's all yours.
Another thing I called Conjure the Dark. That sounds like that Spider-Man musical. What was that?
Turn off the dark.
There we go. That's what it was. Sorry.
I mean, the logo, I also joked, it makes it look like it's Scarlet Witch, not just witches.
I didn't even look at that.
It's a very Marvel-esque font going on that looks like Multiverse of Madness kind of Scarlet Witch thing, Agatha Harkness kind of style. But anyways, get into the real part of the zone.
Conjure the Dark. An evil sorceress has entered Twisted Stone ruins and called forth monstrosities from dark dimensions. This Halloween, blood will feed her army of the night. Oh my God. So this is the San Francisco zone. We've seen like a big cauldron with like ruins on it. There's a big door set behind it right in front of the exit of Supercharged. So as the description implies, we're going to see some portals, lots of different characters, and they confirmed actual fire in this zone.
Ooh.
So, I mean, we had fire with Hellbilly, but that was kind of up high. I wonder this will be a little lower, I'm assuming.
I'm going to guess not too much lower.
You don't think that cauldron could just like spit fire out if someone's on the other side of the stage?
A tourist would die. Come on.
Oh, come on, the tourist. And then, so this takes us back to the first ever Halloween, Samhain. It's Celtic inspired witches is really what they kind of confirmed on the podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this is, the first ceremony to bring forth the first Halloween. So, oh my God.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, it's weird. Oh, it's weird because it's not near the Coven House. I know it has nothing to do with it.
But it's completely
I'll get
different
over that.
era. Very completely different era. Different style. I mean, if they're witches, that's it. That's the only thing.
My only issue is what house is rumored to be exiting from here. If it's Blumhouse, I feel like or exiting near here. That feels like a weird transition to me. Is really what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but they typically don't match Scarezones anyways.
Oh, I know. That's just me being finicky. But other than that, I'm fucking excited for this one.
I do enjoy it that the stage is kind of pressed back further towards that Fast and Furious exit. It's leaving some more space. We'll see what other sets they add. I'm kind of hoping they're just kind of along the water there, just a couple of things. Because you could leave a lot of space that way, and it'll help that zone immensely. Because again, you could put whatever in this zone and it could be miserable just because of limited space and bottlenecks. So, I can be excited about the concept all I want. I just want to see that I can comfortably go through it at points.
I think they also could use characters because they said there's going to be like trolls and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if they use like big boys, that could take the place of a set piece, but not take up as much space. Maybe they're using kind of that route. I don't know. We'll see.
I would happily take that, please.
Yeah.
So that's it for the scare zones. So we will move on to shows now. And Jess, speaking of fire.
They were listening, though. They were listening.
Just for 365, they said, fuck us.
The one of the shows announced in Fear Factor stage, or no name stage now, I guess, is Halloween Nightmare Fuel Wildfire. Which, if you listen to the podcast, we always say, well, at least I always say, really incredible show. I enjoyed it. Performers are very talented. So much fire, I was melting, like literally melting. So they've gone and added the tagline "Wildfire." But anyways, a little description about it quick before we discuss. The sequel to last year's Halloween Nightmare Fuel, featuring the world-famous performance group, the Fuel Girls, highlighting a new dreamer in the depths of a new nightmare set to heart-pounding metal, rock, and electronica score.
Yeah, this is going to be cool. One of the show directors stuff was like, "Oh, you didn't like the pyro?
Let's get the Fuel Girls."
The thing is, I fucking love pyro. I love pyro. I just want it balanced. That's all.
I want air conditioning. That's really what I want.
True. I want that too. It's just, again, in September, it's still 90 degrees when you sit down for that show, and then they spit fire in your face for 25 minutes. It's rough.
Yeah, well, so I looked up the Fuel Girls. They're a UK-based performance group. They very much fit the Nightmare Fuel vibes. They're in like bondage-esque costumes.
And they were also supposedly supposed to be at last year's show, but due to pandemic and travel restrictions, they did not come.
They were scrapped.
Yeah, I believe they were supposed to be part of it because it was multiple groups involved last year that couldn't make it. So
they also do like aerial stunts. So they do a hoop and like a trapeze. So, but there's like flamethrowers. There's actual flamethrowers in their show.
I like this vibe because if one of these groups turns out to be problematic, the name of the show isn't named after them, so they don't.
Correct.
They can just take them out, and they can be like, "Oh yeah, they never," So if a few girls end up being problematic, it doesn't become this whole thing.
I do like that we have a female, centered performance troupe at the center of the show. I feel like that's a first for the event.
I'm excited for the show. Again, I thought Halloween Nightmare Fuel was a great show.
Yeah.
I can just only watch it so many times because it was slightly uncomfortable to watch.
It also, they didn't have an express line last year for one of the shows. They normally did like one every night, but I don't think they had that last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of took away, sorry to, be the express people, but Fear and Beer did say that we were the express people. That was funny. They want to run Weekend with Duff, and they were like, we know that they're the express people, but hey, I'll wear that with pride. My body is too broken to wait in those lines.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, but once I saw the light, it was over.
He tried to fight us last year, and then
I tried.
It we brought him and Mary over,
but yeah.
But no, yeah, yep. I've lost my train of thought. There we go. Wildfire.
I mean, it is $400 more. I am trying to save up, but yes, I'm going to be an express person this year. I just have to. It's so hard. It hurts so bad to drop it.
Mm-hmm. Once you do it the first time, you just kind of expect it the next year, and you're prepared.
It's such a difference, though. It's like 200 versus 600.
It's crazy.
It's insane, and 200 is expensive.
But one night with Express is a lot as well. Yeah, I will argue. So, like, when you're looking at how many, everyone does this argument, but when you're looking at how many nights we get,
it's definitely a value if you go as often as you guys do. For sure,
it'll be a value for as often as you go, even.
Yeah,
even though you make it less.
I mean, I have kind of figured out a way to that. I think if you guys weren't getting it, I probably I could make it work. I show up late anyway. I'm going to show up around 11 when the lines are pretty slow, and just do a little bit here or there, and maybe wait 20, 30 minutes and be fine. But that first day it's going to probably pay for itself right there, because
if you want to knock everything out, you're going to
opening in day. I'm going to knock it out day one for sure. Well,
and then whoever wants to take the final one, I don't remember who should be up. All you.
I'll do it. Sure. The last one is the Lagoon Show, and we have got a brand new rethemed one. This is the little bit of surprise I was alluding to that I was shocked by. It is Ghoulish, a Halloween Tale, an all-new show taking place in Universal Studios Lagoon that follows the Grim Reaper on the undertaking of what happens beyond the grave. All set to an eerily remixed music by some of today's most iconic artists. This is going to be cool, guys. I'm getting when I saw the logo and stuff, I was getting some goosebump vibes, some kind of 90s Halloween type feel here. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And then it finishes by saying music by some of today's most iconic artists. There's a quite iconic artist already a part of the event. So we're going to take a wild guess. There's going to be some weekend music, likely Blinding Lights in this Lagoon show.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see a tweet in a couple days. I was just walking by the gates and I heard it. They were testing sound. It's going to happen.
If you live in Bell Apartments, be ready.
Hey, let us know the playlist for Nightmare Fuel.
Right. But yeah, no, it's basically just kind of a continuation of Marathon of Mayhem without being an actual continuation in name, it sounds like.
Yeah, I like this though. I think this is the way to do it, is that you put it, you can bring back Marathon of Mayhem if you want. That mostly kind of worked for I think 29 it worked, and I think we found out in 30 that it didn't quite. Mm-hmm. That maybe a new theme and a new name really would have worked better for that year. But I think they learned with this one. Yeah, we can still have a Lagoon show, but let's come up with a theme and a name that really fits what we're doing that year. Mm-hmm. We don't have to go with just Marathon of Mayhem new tagline.
Yeah. And then there's no comparison. Well, there's always going to be a comparison, but I feel like there's less pressure for it to live up to 29,
Yeah.
It's a new show. It's a completely new show. This is a clean slate. Let's take this as what it is. This is Ghoulish. This is not Marathon.
Yeah. And I think that's something that probably hurt Carnage Factory a bit, is that it was Marathon of Mayhem, and there was expectations to be Marathon of Mayhem from the year before, or the event before. So, it didn't work out great in that sense.
They learned their lesson. That
I think this year it's set up. There's properties that lend themselves well to something that's going to be kind of musically based and these type of visuals. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
It seems like it's really Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with the whole event, it seems really Halloween based. Ghoulish is a perfect name for it. I'm excited really to see what they put together here.
Definitely. And then, Jess, we do have one more thing to discuss that's kind of come behind all these announcements. Do you want to take that last piece?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I talked about the repaint. So, the Tribute Store, for the first time ever, the scares taking root in the streets of Universal Studios, Florida, will bleed into the theme of the Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store with a collection of incredibly detailed environments inspired by the iconic Halloween haunts featured throughout the event. Guests will shop the latest Halloween Horror Nights merchandise and treats as they venture through a pumpkin patch, cemetery, and witch's cottage, eventually making their way to the final room, an elaborate Halloween festival set in the same town as the store's neighboring Scarezone, Sweet Revenge.
That's great.
Yeah. And Major Sweets branded candy will be available in the store.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh my God.
So that they're doing this right this year.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They they've been teasing a whole story leading up to all this, and it's going to tie right in to the street it leads out to.
Yeah.
Can you ask for much more than that?
Yeah. Where do you guys think that do you think the dark ride is the Pumpkin Patch Cemetery and Witch Cottage portion?
I would think so, yeah. Because it's still it's supposed to be like an attraction, and it'll be the dark ride that we expect, I think.
I'm so excited. And then it still says closed on the front, but it's gotten that new orange and black paint scheme. It looks a little run down. I assume there's going to be more weathering, maybe. Mm-hmm. There's a ticket window that was put in the front, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm so excited. This is probably going to open next week would be the week before, which is what happened last year.
That would make sense. Yeah, I hope so. I'd like.
We don't have a date yet, but
yeah, no info quite yet.
Well, whenever it opens, I'll be there. Maybe I'll do a TikTok live. If people want to watch that.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But that's HHN 31. We're looking forward to seeing that in just basically 2 weeks from when this.
Holy shit!
Basically,
really? Oh my God!
2 weeks and 2 days from when this episode releases.
And we'll probably get the food and drinks next week. I'm assuming they'll do a blog post. Yeah. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. They normally do with it.
And I am very excited for this. Again, I've been doing a cleanse. I think it's good to cleanse your body of alcohol and other things like that every once in a while, especially heading into an event like this where I will not be taking care of my body, especially on the alcohol front. So I am very excited to see what I'm going to just toss into myself and indulge. We'll use indulge.
Oh boy, and I am getting very excited.
It's close. Not much longer to wait. But we saved it for the end here just because at least one of them reacts directly to all the news we got today. And that's a few voicemails we have.
Yeah, so I'll play the first one.
Hey guys, it's Udani from Voices from the Beyond. This is take 2 of my voicemail. I'm terrible at this. I've been listening to your guys' show for a very long time. You guys are partially my inspiration for starting my podcast in the first place. Just wanted to say thank you. Sorry I didn't get this in time to go to put it in the 100th episode, but happy 100th, guys, or 101, I guess it would be. Anyways, hope to see you guys at some point and actually in person. All right. Have a great day, guys. Hey guys, it's Udani from Voices from the Beyond.
Sorry.
Thanks, man.
See, I knew I was right to be excited for episode 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Called. I appreciate it. I love hearing
old, congratulate us on 101.
Yeah.
And that's so check out Voices from the Beyond podcast. Really kind words also. We appreciate that deeply.
Yeah. I always love hearing OGs. Because you had to suffer through it, and if you're still here, it really makes me feel good.
I'm glad Nico gave me that insight on how you guys actually used to record.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We don't want to talk about it.
But thank you, Donnie.
It was, yeah. I mean, I've said it before, but honestly, the first couple of episodes was just basically Duff and I just deciding to turn on a microphone about us nerding out about Halloween Horror Nights, and we just recorded them, and it turned into this. We were having the discussions in line of the event, and we decided, just to have those same discussions again, sitting around, Yeti Snowball. Yeah.
Now look at all of us.
Yeah.
Together again for HHN 31.
Yep.
All right, our next voicemail.
Hey, HHN 365. This is Kyle. Hopefully this voicemail doesn't really mess up. But sorry for that. The last one I was driving to work, and I guess I was losing service. But I just want to congratulate y'all on your 100th episode and beyond, and that you all are very much appreciated in the community. And thank y'all for producing quality content to keep us all entertained. You are all definitely inspiring when creating content, with how creative you guys can get with each episode. And I don't really have any awesome questions like Carnage and everybody else who called. But I figured, maybe I'd try to Nancy Drew Mike, since he Nancy Drew'd me last year about the Nico situation. But I want to Nancy Drew him on his little hiatus, but I don't have any leads.
Oh, man.
I feel like maybe he worked at Universal, because I think that was mentioned in a couple past episodes. And there were some restrictions on him being in the podcast, and I think he was trying to adopt as well. But if that happened, congratulations. So yeah, as Mike would say in previous episodes, I want to hear the meat and potatoes, why he was gone. And in the last episode, I believe Jess was making a reference to James Spann, the weather guy who would take off his coat during rough weather and have his suspenders on. I think it was a reference to them planting corn. He actually does the weather in my state, so I thought that was hilarious. But if something were to happen, fingers crossed it's not, like any weather or whatnot, someone needs to go out there and make a TikTok with the corn or the maize, telling the weather, acting like James Spann, ripping off their coat and suspenders or whatnot. But appreciate you guys. It was great to hear from Nico again. You guys just be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Yeah, okay. Duff, you didn't warn me about this one.
Apologies.
No, so so there are a couple of reasons why I decided that I did to take a little step back. One of them is, yes, I legit did work for the company, and I felt like I couldn't fully speak the way I had been before when I worked for the company. I couldn't have the same irreverence that I like to have, and I couldn't speak my mind, and I couldn't, so that was kind of one of the reasons that I thought that it's best to take a little bit of a different approach to it. There were some other reasons, and I am at this point, I think I'm ready to discuss them a little bit. I was just going through some life transitions, while at the same time discovering stuff about I've said on the show before that I was diagnosed with ADHD, so discovering a lot about my neurodiversity, as well as and I'm dealing with more than just ADHD. I was diagnosed with it's called dyspraxia. So it's a neurological disorder that if you're from the UK, you probably are aware of it, but if you are from the US, you probably don't. So I was just kind of learning a lot about myself, going through some transitions personally, and I just took kind of like Nico, where Nico was just dealing with some things. I wasn't ready to completely call it quits. I just took a little break while I was dealing with some personal stuff, and so learning it, But mainly that was the main reason, and now a lot of that is behind me, and I'm ready to move forward.
And happy the journey has led you back to us happily and enjoying the show.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm excited to be back.
And then, of course, thank you, Kyle. One, you said a lot of kind things in there as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Very appreciative of you and the voicemails you have left, not only now, but in the past. So good to hear from you again.
And I will absolutely be making that TikTok.
Right.
Especially on opening night if it rains, catch me out there making Duff hold the camera. Or Mike, whoever's with me that night.
Absolutely.
I think we have one more voicemail. I don't have a name for this one, but it's a reaction.
Hi there, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller here. The announcement for all the houses came out today when I'm calling, and I noticed some people calling the reveal and the year in general pretty mid-tier, disappointing. I think it's probably just coming from a lack of Stranger Things and big IPs like that, but I am super excited. I assume we're already going to get you guys' thoughts, but any thoughts on people calling this event disappointing? Thanks, Mike. Hi there, guys.
I'm killing it. I'm so sorry, guys. Episode 101.
Well, thank you for calling, leaving a voicemail. My opinion is that you're spot on. I think things like, and one, I'd like to say this depends where you're looking. I think if you look at Twitter, Instagram, there's a lot of positivity. If you look at like Facebook, not so much. And I think it comes from like a lack of Stranger Things and properties they wanted to see, and also the inclusion of properties they didn't want to see, like The Weeknd, or for some people, Halloween again. And I think there's a lot of doom and gloom based over one or two properties or houses or scare zones. And it's just kind of those normal things we get every year. There's always going to be people who aren't happy with the lineup because it didn't have what they wanted. Again, we get to this thing where people always expect the event to kind of be exactly what they want, and if not, it's kind of a failure, right? And then, of course, there's a difference between that and simply just not being excited. There are people who generally are just like, nothing really interests me. There are people who don't care about vintage Halloween and that stuff. It's fine, and they'll still go to the event and probably have a good time, or at least try to. But yeah, no, there's a lot of doom and gloom on some certain areas of the internet, and I think for the exact reasons you stated.
Yeah, I think Facebook's always going to be toxic. I think you could post that, I don't know, whatever deity himself or themselves picked this event perfectly for you, and you're still going to find something to bitch about on Facebook. Not you, obviously, but the people. Facebook is just so negative about the event. They only want to see Stranger Things and Scream and stuff like that. But then they complain when they get the same properties. It's always going to be negative over there. Twitter's also negative, but it depends on kind of where you look. I saw mainly positive, but also a lot of the people I follow and I'm friends with on social media are very much into the traditional Halloween aspect of it, including myself. So, I would not call this a mid announcement this is what, my 5th year going. This is probably like up there in my like hype-ist. I know last year was really hype, but that was because of, the postponement of 2020 and everything. This year, just based on everything alone, I am very excited.
Yep, definitely. I think like you said, you'd hear before we got here, but we're all pretty excited about this event, I'd say.
Yeah, where I think I have always this excited, but I feel like maybe just because of the theme of this one, I think it might be just a little bit more than some of the years past. I am super. This is just going to be so much fun.
Fully agreed. And thank you for being a longtime listener, and thank you for calling in, leaving us a voicemail. Feel free to do so whenever you got something to say.
Thank you so much, man.
Other than that, I think that's kind of it. Again, we're literally, by the time you hear this, just over 2 weeks away from the event. Man, we got still some Hollywood drops to come that we're going to discuss, of course. We got to do our hype lists. There's a lot we're going to cram into 2 weeks, so we got a lot to do before the event starts. So hopefully that goes by nice and quick for us, of course.
Yeah. But otherwise, these next couple of weeks are going to be whirlwind. Don't forget to turn up to live trivia on the 31st. Don't forget to check out our Big Cartel shop and get those orders in as quickly as possible. If you are local and you would like to try to have your shirt before the opening weekend of the event. As always, you can leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134 and reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at HHN365 for Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and at TikTok at HHN365pod. And we'll see you in the streets very, very soon.